Mayor, I can't hear anything. This is Councilman Villalpando. I'm slightly relieved. I couldn't hear anything either.
Mayor, I can't hear anything. This is Councilman Gilipando.
I'm slightly relieved. I couldn't hear anything either.
Mayor, I can't hear anything. This is Councilman Gilipando.
I'm slightly
joined the meeting.
Jesús Roldán.
Join the meeting.
so I think, are you guys hearing that?
No, you're clear.
Okay, I'm just going to take that your photo. So the Performing Arts Center right now, the district has advised us to look at housing most of their staff. I think that is over 1,000 seats is what we're currently looking at for pet sitting. So what we'd really like for that to have is a full pre-function space, restrooms, concessions, or tickets, everything that you would need for a shared facility. Many performing arts centers do host community events, and actually it can be a fundraiser for the school as well. So we're trying to test fit and make sure that you have both pre-function, like the lobby space, but also an outdoor space, so that you can really take advantage on the north side of the building of some cool evenings and a gathering space as well.
So is everything fitted as an auditorium?
The function.
That's a future. The Performing Arts Center is a future plan. It's not in this current bond project, but we want to make sure that we have the space for you.
For the auditorium.
Yeah.
Oh.
Thanks, Carmen.
Thank you.
Okay, so moving forward, maybe Gina wanted to talk with you about some of the higher project aspirations.
Thank you, and I appreciate being back with the council again. Just a quick reminder of the true aspiration for any district is equity. And I know that we have had several discussions on starting the project in a timely manner, but starting a project and not being able to finish it where students have equity of access to all programming is a priority for Yuma Union High School District. The students of Copa High School are the majority of our Somerton students, and right now they're currently looking at many career and technical education programs, as well as a full performing arts, all of the arts, athletic facilities, etc. So equity is a true driving factor for us. Safety is, right there with it. So safety, and as schools are built and as technology continues to get better, there are more and more things available to schools. Unfortunately, safety is also very costly. One would think that it would be implied that you would want your schools to be the safest places, but it's very expensive to build for safety as well. So those things are being put in, and I'm thankful to Carmen with bringing in experts on that. Community need, definitely. We want to be good partners. We are excited to be able to put the fields and all of the activity spaces on our property. Leave your space for your future plans, for your Parks and Rec, and looking at a great partnership there, and being able to tend to our own fields, etc. That being said, again, we have great working relationships with the council and your team members, and we'll continue to work through intergovernmental agreements as we move on. It was mentioned that October 1st is an important day. That's the 40th day for Yuma Union High School District. I'm proud to say that even during this pandemic, our dropout rate is one of the lowest in the state of Arizona at 1.35%. We do defy the demographics, and that's due to all the work of all of our staff and our community. Everyone in this community works at keeping kids in school, and we need to continue that work together. And there's no one thing that does that. We are not declining enrollment. We have held and even increased our enrollment in Yuma Union High School District. But every single student not only matters for education, they matter in this count. So October 1st is a critical day for us. And that's just the facts. We have to have the numbers in order to continue to pursue the funding. I still hold that we were within the range last year, and I continued to voice that with the facility board. However, They disagreed, as we all know. We were within 50, we felt, and we disputed all the way to the last day. So what you have from me tonight, this has already been sent to the board members of the Union High School District. I've spoken. I really appreciate the leadership of Andy Tobin at the school facility board and Nick Loper. They always answer the phone. They answer my questions. I am proud
Join the meeting.
that our district has had more of our plans approved through SFB this year than ever before. So I know that they have great leadership. This letter outlines something way more than just a number. I understand numbers and I understand data, but the fact that Somerton, Arizona doesn't have their own high school is a matter of equity and safety, as well as opportunity for the students that live in this community who would choose to go to their own high school that would be nearby. I hope that I've outlined that precisely, and I hope that I've given a lot of clarity to that. I'm going to ask you as council members and professionals to really read that letter, educate as much as you can about the requests there, and then I'm going to ask you as a call to action to please, after the 1st of October, begin to contact your legislators and beyond. You all are very well known. You've done great work. Somerton, Arizona is a well-known community in the state of Arizona. And I feel that instead of us arguing back and forth about us doing more and you doing more, and we're doing together all that we can possibly do. At some point, the state of Arizona is going to have to decide what is fair and what should be funded. And I feel like this letter does outline that and give you some more information. As you can see currently, we run 16 buses from Somerton to Copa High School. And you can see some of the mileage. I know you know that because you've been seeing that for years. People don't understand that outside of Yuma County. Yuma County gets it, but our funding doesn't come from Yuma County specifically. So that is the purpose of this letter. It has been sent, and depending on what their meetings look like, I will be attending as the superintendent to SFB in the next month on behalf of Somerton High School and Yuma Union High School District. Thank you.
Any questions, comments?
I have questions, man. Yeah. Ms. Thompson, I'm going to read a quote from yesterday's newspaper. The gentleman here touched on it. Yesterday, the quote was a 2015 Yuma County voters approved bond allocated $20 million for this project. However, the completion of the Somerton High School hinges upon funding from the state, which will not be determined until at the earliest December. If the funding lines up and we stay on schedule, you'll have the school open in 3 years. So the 3 questions that I have is one, can you elaborate on your contingency plan if funds are not approved by SFB?
October 1st is the formal 40th day count for Yuma Union. Last year, the previous leadership said, between 50 and 80 students within their formula. We met that. Then they said that it wasn't good enough, that it wasn't there. I think what I'm confident in is the leadership that has been working with us at SFB right now. And I'm confident with our numbers and with our students being in school.
So is Mr. Tobin going to be permanent there?
I don't know. I just really appreciate having somebody to go and ask those hard questions to. I hope so. I don't think this was his plan to be there this long, but we certainly have appreciated his leadership, as well as Mr. Loper, who you also met in our meeting with him.
Yeah, we had a meeting earlier this year with Mr. Tobin, and I was encouraged by him. He really understood our issues, so hopefully.
He was the first person at that level that acknowledged the safety concern for students being on a bus and acknowledged the equity issue where our students who live in Somerton don't always get to participate in after-school activities and extracurriculars due to the distance and the inability to get back and forth. And you can see that outlined in this particular letter as well. Also, I have to say thank you to your fire chief. He also gave us a supporting document that was in January of last year. And I'm submitting that again as well, and I appreciate his support.
Any other questions? Thank you. And Jerry, October 1st, I'm gonna get to work, and I always tell council our League of Cities is important because that's when we get to meet the legislators, and this is when I would work. So let's start calling everyone that we know, and
and I will tell you what our student enrollment is on October 1st or 2nd, within those 24 hours, so that you can be better prepared with the actual data. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
I'm gonna go back to the addendum, item number 3, September 15th to October 15th, 2020 as Hispanic Heritage Month. Is there a motion to prepare to proclaim September 15th to the 20th as Hispanic Heritage Month? A motion by Councilman Castillo, second by Vice Mayor Garcia. Those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. To the proclamation. Hispanic Heritage Month proclamation. Whereas Hispanic Heritage Month honors all American citizens of Hispanic descent and celebrate the rich and vibrant traditions of faith, family, hard work, and patriotism. Whereas Hispanic Americans help reinforce our relationship with our Latin American neighbors as we work to bolster liberty in the region and achieve free and fair trade with our regional partners. Whereas Hispanic Americans have played a pivotal role in our country's strength and prosperity. The spirit, energy, and leadership are woven into the culture of America and enrich our lives. Whereas Hispanic Americans make up more than 95% of the population in the city of Somerton, and the city of Somerton takes pride in the members of our Hispanic community and honors organizations, families, individuals of Hispanic American descent in appreciation of their invaluable local contributions in many professions and fields, including education, law, government, business, science, sports, and arts, brave service in the United States Armed Forces that continue to enrich the history and culture of our city while continuing to unite and sustain us as a community. Now, therefore, I, Mayor Gerardo Nayo, City of Somerton, hereby proclaim September 15th to October 15th as Hispanic Heritage Month in the city of Somerton as a time to recognize and celebrate the many contributions and extensive histories of the Hispanic community. Yeah, so we can light the water tower September 6th. And then I'll bring it back up to yellow for cancer awareness for children. Moving on to old business. Discussion and possible action to approve resolution number 2020-18, a resolution of mayor and council of the city of Somerton, approving the form and authorization, the execution and delivery of loan agreement with Water Infrastructure Finance Authority of Arizona from its Drinking Water Revolving Fund program, delegating the termination of certain matters relating thereto, the manager, the public works director, and the finance director of the city, providing for the transfer of certain monies and making certain covenants and agreements with respect thereto, authorizing the taking of all other actions necessary to the consummation of the transactions contemplated by such loan agreement and this resolution declaration of emergency.
Mayor and Council, I'm not sure if Ms. Gallegos, Finance Director, is on the line.
If she is there. I'm having issues with.
Okay, but that's not a problem. So before you tonight is. Who's here? Oh, she's here. Okay. Ms. Gallegos is here.
Yes. Good evening, Mayor, Council members. It's nice to see you. This is the final resolution for us to finalize the loan, the WIFA loan. The loan has been approved through the WIFA board, and as of now, we are receiving a very good interest rate and a forgivable principal for it. So, if you have any questions, I will entertain any questions regarding the loan and the resolution.
Any questions, comments? No? Well, Councilman Villalpando had a question. Did you talk to him?
We have been looking for some verbiage on the documentation, and I think very honest.
So is that a question for answered? Is there a motion? A motion by Councilman Galindo.
Second.
Second by Councilman Castillo. Also in favor? Only heard one aye. Any opposed? Okay, carried.
Thank you.
Moving on to new business. Discussion and possible action of forming a close point of distribution committee and appoint members to distribute the COVID-19 vaccination once available. Mr. Lozano.
Yes, good evening, Mayor and Council. For this item, we'll inquire if Fire Battalion Chief Louis Carlos is on the line.
Yes, I'm here. Thank you, Mr. Lozano. Mayor and Council, if you guys can hear me. Hello?
Yes.
Okay. I appreciate you, giving me this platform this evening. Back in March, what we had was we entered into a memorandum of understanding with Yuma County Public Health that in case there was any vaccines or anything was made available to us, we would be in charge of distributing those vaccines to our staff and their family members. We found out about 2 weeks ago that CDC has sent out a mandate to local public health organizations to start preparing for a possible November 1st vaccine distribution. That's not a date that's been set in stone per Yuma County Public Health, but they are advising us to start preparing and making sure that our plans are in place. And part of becoming that close point of distribution was that we need to establish a committee. So not all decisions are made by one single person, but by a committee. This committee would require an somebody in the position of emergency management, somebody with human resource and public relations, police, medical personnel, and somebody from administrative staff. What we're asking this evening, Mayor and Council, is that if we could proceed and establish this committee. If you have any questions for us.
Questions or comments?
So, Mayor and Council, within your agenda packet, you'll note that what Mr. Carlos has indicated as to the composition of the committee and what the staff recommendation was for members of the committee. So Mr. Carlos mentioned emergency management. The recommended person there would be Chief Paul De Anda. someone with facility management. The recommendation there would be Battalion Chief Louis Carlos. Someone from Human Resources. The recommended member would be Armando Leon. Public Relations. Again, the recommended person would be Chief De Anda. And Police Security. The recommended staff member there for that committee position is Chief Araceli Juarez. Medical personnel. Suggested there is Captain Javier Hernandez. And administrative staff, the suggestion there was our city manager, whoever was in place at that time.
Vice Mayor.
I'd just like to make some suggestions on the committee members as far as public relations. I would, because it's somebody who delivers key messages to employees during a crisis, that would he's down that he's going to be in charge of emergency management. So my recommendation for that would be the city manager, and for administrative staff, scheduling meetings and anything like that, I would recommend Andrea. The city manager.
Mayor, this is Councilman Villalpando with some questions. Okay. Well, what is exactly all the functions that this committee is going to have to perform? Are we going to have to look? Is the committee going to do such thing as finding somebody to actually give these vaccinations to staff, their families? You know, and if so, you know, is there going to be a cost to the city for finding somebody, or are they going to have to come up with some like a whole entire plan? And do we have the capability of coming up with a plan on how to deliver these vaccines, and how many times are they going to meet? Because this is all an investment on behalf of the city, which we could easily just wait for the vaccines to be available and send them either to one of the local clinics and receive these vaccines, and not have to establish this committee and invest. Quite frankly, it's city funding through city staff time.
Mr. I believe under our present memorandum of understanding, that was one of the requirements, is to form the committee, correct?
That is correct. Councilman Villalpando, they have, by they, I mean the Yuma County Public Health has provided us a template that is scalable for the amount of staff that we have here in the city and their family members. There might be some investment of time. I don't foresee it being a lot of meetings. I foresee it being maybe 1 or 2 meetings that people that we would have to get together, and then the day of. As far as administration, Arizona Department of Health Services has actually authorized paramedics to be the people able to do vaccines for this emergency pandemic.
I guess the idea behind this program is that government doesn't collapse, and that government employees get the vaccination so that we can function and keep on going through the pandemic. It's still unsure in the regular sector who gets the vaccination and who doesn't. So that might take a while to sort out. But in the meantime, if one's available, then this committee decides who among staff gets it and is able to keep our government alive here locally. I shouldn't say alive, but functioning.
if I could add, Mayor and Council, like Mr. Lozano was saying, was that if there is a vaccine, the most important thing is the continuation of government. There will be a tiered response to this, meaning, it's in your packet. It would be the people working in the actual pod and giving those vaccinations being the first ones to get it, so they don't transmit it to other people. And then after that would be the committee would decide who would get it first, as far as our staff would be, say, do the EMS personnel, fire, sanitation, water, whichever way we decide as a city is how we roll out these vaccinations. Once all our staff is vaccinated, or those that choose to be vaccinated, then we would bring in their loved ones in order to ensure those employees that they are not the only ones that are protected, but also their family members. So they can come into work without having to worry that their loved ones are going to be getting sick. This is going to help us as a city to be able to reopen a lot quicker and safer than if we just wait for a regular rollout. That's kind of the purpose of point of distribution, is that we're able to maintain the continuation of government.
Is there a cost to the vaccine?
As of right now, I do not know. Yuma County Public Health has not stated if there's going to be a cost to the vaccine to the cities or how it would be rolled out. So far, this is just preparation more than anything. We don't even know what vaccine we would be getting. There's about 9 or 10 different vaccines out there that are vying to be the first one to be rolled out.
And to Vice Mayor's comment on the committee, how was this committee formed? Was it through the city manager?
Mayor and Council, to be honest, I spoke to both Chief De Anda and Mr. Carlos, and together they had the list of the positions for the committee, and they made their recommendations. I made my recommendations essentially, but again, it's a recommendation, and council is free to add or subtract names as they see fit.
Mayor, I'll make a motion to go with the recommendations from Vice Mayor.
A motion by Councilman Villafranco. Second by Councilman Galindo. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, we're going to go to summary current events and then go to executive session and then go back to item number 2.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Mayor and Council, so this evening it's anticipated that a new city manager will come on board to guide the city of Somerton. I wish to express my gratitude for allowing me the opportunity to serve as your interim city manager for the past 90 or so days. It was a pleasure working for 7 bosses, and I look forward to working with the new manager as we continue to build the best city in Arizona. Somerton Scoop, which is a special events concept that promotes local retailers, experienced a feel-good success story. This week, special events coordinator visited a local furniture store, and as a result of that visit, the local furniture store sold 8 Hollywood mirrors yesterday. So that's the type of response I think that we're looking for in that segment, that there's some showcasing of our businesses and there's reaction by our local community to support them. Also, racing is back at the Cocobah Speedway. The racing event during the Labor Day weekend was a success. The new manager has been very receptive to our mandatory face covering proclamation and social distancing guidelines. Our police and fire department noted no concerns for the racing events and noted that management was clearly concerned with keeping our community safe. After this, they will be running again, racing again, September 25th and September 26th at 7 p.m. And at the Copa Speedway, they'll continue requiring face coverings and following the CDC and City of Somerton guidelines. Hector Tapias, an Economic Development Director, states that Local First Arizona Foundation, as of September 15, 2020, 26 small local businesses have qualified for the grant. The distribution of the funds will follow during the next 2 days once the review of the business license is completed. And we've also wired money to Local First Arizona this week. All right, so Arizona at Work Youth Internship Program. Mr. Tapia says that the city's Economic Development and Human Resources Department started working with Arizona at Work to develop an internship program that will provide work experience for college students from the Somerton area. The work area selected will depend on the city's needs and the student's area of study. Also, an adult internship program is available. On both programs, Arizona at Work would pay up to 15 weeks, which is 600 hours for each participant. Jesus Mesa, Parks and Rec Director, states that fire extinguishers were serviced today for all facilities but the Yuma Fire Department. By Yuma Fire Extinguisher Service. Also, the RFP for contractual landscaping services is under review and intended to be posted by Friday, September 18th. The improvement project for Joe Munoz Field Irrigation System in Center Field area was started on September 14th. Dan Palacios, Public Works Director, states that the water tank rehabilitation project in the contract there has completed the installation of the new rafters and started installing the metal sheets for the new roof. The Cesar Chavez Street Reconstruction and Traffic Signal Project. Regarding that, a notice of project award was sent to DPE Construction. We should start receiving the material submittals for review and approval. And on the annual cleanup program, staff has started preparing the program advertisement and started campaigning this week. Staff is currently preparing the equipment and the areas where the service is provided to our residents. As you recall, last week I reported about the unavailability of contract labor for that program, and during last week at today's staff meeting, it looks like we've resolved to move forward with contractual labor because we don't have the labor provided by the Department of Corrections, and I think Mayor and Council believe that this is a worthwhile service to be provided to our residents at this time. So the program is back on its feet. Serena Gallegos, Finance Director, states that she began work reviewing applications for the accounts payable position. She began reviewing the purchasing policy in preparation for policy update. And she's working with the Arizona Governor's Office on receipt of the AZ Care funds. Carmen Juarez, Community Development Director, says that staff continues working on the census events. The census caravan will be at the Valley Vista Apartments on Thursday, September 17th from 8 to 11 a.m. Also, a parade and assisting residents during their census 2020 will be available at Joe on Friday, September 18th. This parade will start at 6 p.m. and the event at the park will be from 6:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. The Planning and Zoning Commission will hold a regular meeting on Monday, September 21st at 6 p.m. There are 5 items on the agenda: a request for a temporary housing for an H-2A program for workers, a rezoning and a minor amendment to the general plan for the future Somerton Elementary School south of Main Street, and a rezoning and a minor amendment to the general plan for the future Somerton High School north of Main Street. Meeting will be streamed live on the city's YouTube channel. And also, the Humane Society of Yuma has canceled their services for spay, neutered, and vaccination services until further notice. This is due to their in-house veterinarian having resigned. This creates a problem for our residents, as this is the only place for low-cost services for their pets. Staff is in communication with the Yuma with the Humane Society of Yuma and exploring other possibilities to bring these services to our city. Which is, you know, we still are taking care of picking up dogs in the city. Just no services, our veterinary services are unavailable at this time. So out of San Juarez, the police chief states the academy cadet expenses are being grant covered by AWC Law Enforcement Academy through Arizona at Work providers, saving us $25,000 of each cadet, which at this time is savings of $50,000 to the city. We also received reimbursements for all stone guarding monies, totaling a little over $10,000. We're currently looking at a grant from the Governor's Office of Youth and Family, and we continue to participate in local birthday parades. Fire Chief Paul De Anda states, after 9 months of dealing with COVID-19 on the front lines, our department is the only one in Yuma County to not have an infection so far. Our staff has been extremely diligent about disinfecting their apparatuses, gear, and using the appropriate level of PPE. We are expecting to see a strong spike in the next 5 to 10 days because of the Labor Day weekend. This will be an indicator of what to expect with all the other holidays coming soon. Also, that our commercial dryer has gone out due to the additional load placed on it by the many additional loads of uniforms that have resulted from the COVID-19 responses. Since he's instructed staff to purchase one, which will be ordered or coded as a COVID expense. And Mayor and Council, that concludes the Department Director reports.
Councilman Villalpando. Councilman Villalpando.
I don't have anything, Mayor. Thank you.
Councilman Rodan. Councilman Rodan. Councilman Castillo.
Mayor, I just want to thank Mr. Lozano for stepping in as an interim city manager, you know, the last couple months. You know, Mr. Lozano, you know, we appreciate all your commitment, hard work, and dedication to our city. So, thank you. Thank you. That's it.
Councilman Gonzalez.
I just want to thank Jorge for stepping in for the city manager position, and thanks so much.
Councilman Galí. Vice Mayor.
I wanted to thank staff for their help this past Friday and during our census parade. The parade was very nice. We still need a lot more participation from our residents. And I think that's where we all should step in. There's going to be another one this Friday. I'm hoping everybody on council can make it. I think it's a way of showing our residents that, you know, this is important. This is important for our city. We need those funds for the city. We're at 41%, 42 maybe. We still have a ways to go, and we only have 2 more weeks.
Do you have that info?
Right.
Do we have that info for this Friday?
It's probably on the city page, but I don't know.
We'll share that information. Okay.
Also, last month we've had a food distribution partnership with the Coca Cola. They've contacted us again for this. That's on Saturday. I'll talk to coordinate just the canopies again and help us that information as far as time availability. And as well as everybody else, thank you, George, for stepping up. We'll keep bothering you. So. Thank you.
And thank you, Mr. Lozano, for stepping up. I would say very good transition, seamless transition. Thank you very much for everything. With the census, like Vice Mayor said, we gotta participate, but also we gotta analyze if the events that we're holding are really having an effect of getting people. From what I've heard, it wasn't well attended, so if we're wasting resources on that, then we gotta change our way of maybe going about it, and maybe we need to be hiring more people, knocking on doors. That's probably the most effective way of doing it. But yeah, we just, let's not just hold events to hold events. Let's just hold events that are effective instead of just showing. So if we really take a look, I also mentioned on our Friday raffles, obviously it wasn't really working if we were at the lowest number here in the county. So we have some funding there, so let's use it smart, and if we're just holding events to hold events and we don't have the participation, then let's try to get together and change it. And if we need to do something different, let's not be afraid and let's do it, because the idea is just getting people attention. We've done the social media part, and that's been great, but I think we've exhausted the social media people. Now we got the older generation that are not on Facebook, that are not on Twitter, they're not on Instagram, and now then we gotta think how we're gonna reach them. And I think those are the people that we do. And also the message needs to be put out that doesn't matter your legal status, that you still need to be counted. So we need to start being more poignant than just having those events that they're not well attended. Why have?
I don't know, maybe Martin. How much money do we get per person from the state or from the government?
We'll state it with $300.
Yes, for our data from our economic development director, he figures that approximately $300 per person in state shared revenue per year. That's just the city revenue. That's not counting schools and other districts and other.
The city. What, like what?
It affects our school districts and county and state.
So, like 3,000 a year. How much per person?
Well, that's a simple example that I've used is, for example, if we undercount just 2,000 people, so instead of 20,000, they tell us it's 18,000, but we really have 20,000 people. If just undercounting 2,000 people at $300 is equivalent to $600,000 per year. You multiply that by 10 years, which is the next census, and then you're looking at about $6 million.
Because I told one of my coworkers, and he hasn't filled the census form, and I said, if for every person in your house we get so much, and he said, oh, you should tell us that, because I'm gonna do it right now, because and I told my neighbor about it, and I think we should put it on Facebook or wherever that this is how much we get per person, because that motivates them to get out more than for the city. I said, so every person counts, and that's why it's a good project. Maybe
for the census fiestas, Jorge did put it out, and I shared it on the mayor's page. I think the city also did. So it's been put out, but maybe we need to double down on that. Put it out. And also we can now Mr. Lozano, if the new city manager is approved today, then maybe it's for him. But let's try to have a COVID task force meeting here either Thursday or Friday, so we can start discussing reopening of the city. We meet those metrics, and we can start having a plan, and also maybe some of the park facilities. Probably not playground, but other. We can start. We're working on a plan. That's it for me. So is there a motion to go into executive session? So motion by Councilman Galindo. Second by Councilman Castillo. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Let's have a 5-minute break and then we'll go to executive session.
It's